And Dale, please tell us how you've seen the industry change from your perspective.
I mean, it's changed a lot. I mean, when you look at, as it relates to the music side, it used to be like in the 80s, you know, when we have a great artist, like when we first got Skee-Lo and I got Adina Howard, you know, it was take them to a record company and let them go in there and just go wild, and the record company will love them. And record companies had budgets that they could help you develop an artist. Those budgets are now extinct. They don't exist. So it's up to the parents, it's up to the artists themselves to make themselves a brand. And that's what most people don't understand. Record companies today aren't looking for good artists, they're looking for a brand, something that they know that they can sell across the board, not just now how well you sing, but you know, can you perform well, do concerts, or are you gonna be in marketing? Because nowadays, they're doing 360-degree deals, which means they're getting a piece of any way you make money, because the budgets just aren't there to invest $1 million, $2 million into creating an artist. So the biggest change is, as an artist yourself, you have to already show the labels that you have something happening, either on the internet or having a following underground, something that you can go in and say, look, we're already making money. If you join forces with us, we can make a lot of money together. You know, going back to what John was mentioning with the videos, it's kind of the same way now with trying to get in the door. You have to have stuff like that already available, as opposed to before, the record companies would help you build that following to earn that $300,000 video. Now, unless you've already sold 5 or 6 million records, record companies aren't going to do that. They may give you 20 grand and say, go and do it yourself and show us that you deserve $1 million. So the way the industry has changed mostly is they expect a lot more from you, me and the artist, in the beginning, as opposed to just having a great voice or a beautiful look and you can come in and get a record deal. That just doesn't exist anymore.
What was the difference, you know, back in the, let's take the 80s. In the 80s, a music video would launch an artist.
Yes.
You know, it would make an artist.
Yeah. And
now they don't have that. So how is the artist's relationship with the label, how has that evolved in terms of what's expected of the artist? Obviously, they need to take some of their own PR, but what have you seen, not with established, but with new artists, how have you seen that a successful path or a successful formula that has created that relationship with an unknown to a label and the steps they've taken to get there?
The unknowns that I've had the pleasure of working with and watching the label get behind, for example, was like Keyshia Cole. She wasn't known to the music industry, and we did the song Love for her, and that was the first song that she ever did. And once, like I said, she was an unknown, so the steps that was taken was, first, you have to show the label yourself by making yourself a brand, that what you're going to do is going to be successful. And how you do that is you have to go out yourself. You have to get video footage of your material making people dance, making people move. You have to get support from the outside to bring in.
You mentioned making people dance. So basically, it's the effect of your music emotionally on other people.
Exactly. That
okay.
You have to show, nowadays, you have to show that what you're doing is already working. Labels now do not want to take chances with anyone. Mm-hmm. You know, when John mentioned Lady Gaga, I mean, Lady Gaga's success story is amazing. Where she's, you know, how she developed her following in the underground world first. You know, then going from Death Row Records, where nobody even knew she existed, to Vincent Herbert over at Streamline. I mean, this lady worked hard. She perfected her craft. And that's why her fans are so loyal to her. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, well, let's put some makeup on a person and let her go out here and act weird. No, she developed that following because the people who watched her grow understood and can relate to her. And that's where young people like we're seeing here today, and other people that I met at the premiere. How I was able to get them into the Disney doors or the Nickelodeon doors or got them signed with Sony Records was we were able to produce a product from the beginning, show how it affected people, their peer group, via video or inviting companies to live performances, and then letting those powers that be then understand that this is a brand, this is a product that works. A perfect example was Corbin Bleu. When he did High School Musical, this is a young man who never wanted to step or sit on a sitcom. His dream was to always be on Broadway, but Broadway wasn't available for him in Los Angeles. So he did the sitcom or the television, or you want to say the movie, High School Musical. They saw his talents in High School Musical. He then, to show that he could sing, we did an album on it. This is a young man who didn't want to be a recording artist, but he knew to make himself viable to Broadway, he had to show that he can act, which is what he did in High School Musical, and then by doing an album, he showed that he had singing chops. That got him to his ultimate goal to where now he's on Broadway and has been on Broadway for the last 7 years.
See, and that's a great pattern right there. That's a great path.